It should hurt you some more, if anything, because that's a car that's low to the ground, and
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
and then we get to the scene we were talking about with the Mike and the funeral home, and
right.
The sphere getting the groundskeeper, which is the only time we really get to see the sphere. I wonder if those spheres have different methods of killing, or is it just a drill?
You think
it's like a little snitch?
Yeah, I wonder if it has like the Hellraiser complex.
Yeah. Well, I hope in the sequels. I'm interested in watching the sequels.
Yeah, because to explore more of what we were shown in the first one, and hopefully, I said the ratings. Well, here this rating was around 6 to 7, I think, for this one. It was on the same thing for the second one as well. They're more or less what you rating. The critics rating on IMDb.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested in seeing it as long as it has the same kind of tone
or the same score. I'm sure.
There we go. That's score. It. Same score. I'll be good.
We'll be good. We'll tough it out.
The music.
We'll tough it out.
So Mike cuts off the fingers of this tall man,
right?
Or at least one finger.
Kind of remind me of Signs.
Okay.
Remember when Mel Gibson's just looking at the aliens on the other side with the knife, then they end up putting their fingers there, and he just cuts it off.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah, nobody likes it. That's the one thing that's constant in films is no matter who you are or what kind of powers you have, nobody likes getting their fingers cut off. It's weird because he didn't seem like it bothered the tall man when his fingers were jammed in that doorway to the point where the fingers should have fallen off anyway because it was such a drastic cut.
Yeah.
But then he was fine. But the second the knife went and cut the fingers off, that's when he started freaking out. And it bled yellow.
Yeah, well, it was disjointed. I mean, it was disjointed, but then it was severed off. So I guess there's always an extremity there. But
it's like it was so pressed into that doorway, he shouldn't have even felt the knife cut through him because it's already should have lost all feeling. Now, what do you get with the bleeding yellow?
I don't know. Mustard?
Well, yeah, I guess it's something like watered down mustard, but you can't get mustard out, so they must have used something else. You don't want to get mustard everywhere.
They didn't put on any clothing.
No, still, you don't want to go around in a mansion and spray mustard everywhere. He gets
mausoleum on top of that. He's just like putting on people who are buried there. It's just you got mustard all over the marble.
I don't think it's a mausoleum in real life.
You never know.
Maybe
we don't know for sure. We'd have to look deeper into it. But
yeah. I'm not interested in doing that.
No, I'm not
at this point. But he gets chased off by two of the little hooded things. Yeah. So I found it interesting that it's one of those stories where you think no one's going to believe the younger brother,
right?
The kid. But then right away, it's like, oh, that finger. For some reason, he kept the finger. I guess it's.
Yeah, he had to take a finger for evidence. If you don't believe me, like, here it is. And that finger, imagine he kept it in his pocket, in his jacket pocket, his breast pocket. Imagine I think it was just like scratching him as he's like running with it because he ends up putting it in a box later.
Yeah, he put it in a little finger-sized box. And, that finger is jumping around in there.
The jewel box, right?
Yeah. His brother opens it up, and you think for sure that the finger's not going to be there. Something else is going to be. And the finger's still there, and it's not only is the finger there, it has a little pool of yellow blood, and it's wriggling around in there.
Yeah. Like, I see you.
So his brother right away says, all right, I believe you. What are we going to do about this?
I'm going to lock you up, and I'm going to do nothing.
Well, that doesn't come until a little later. But when Mike goes to get the finger again, it's turned into this weird spiky spider thing.
Yeah, it's like weird alien looking
that can fly around and
it's
scream.
Bug, yeah. I said alien only because I realized that, like, in the trivia, like, we realized that the tall man's supposed to be an alien, but it was there's no evidence of him being an alien at all in this film.
Yeah.
It explains, but the reason I mentioned the alien thing is because it explains what happened here. Well, not really explains, but it can't be supernatural, and it can't be...
just calling somebody an alien doesn't explain anything.
I think it does.
No, you can't just solve all your problems by saying it's like I'm okay with just assuming this is a supernatural freak show.
Like some sort of attribute to that, yeah.
So that spider, gets in his hair. Seems like it would be a little more dangerous than it was, but really he's able to grab it and throw it away. But it seems to gain strength real rapidly because all of a sudden it's throwing Jody around the room.
It's kind of like that evolution of Life right away. When we watched Life, like the entity they got from Mars is just like it's getting
stronger and stronger. By the second, they try to throw it down the garbage disposal,
right?
in the sink, and
it had survived at first.
It did, yeah. Very strange. That's the last we see of it in this film too. Doesn't really amount to anything.
No,
it just is left very unexplained.
Yeah, so Tall Man's fingers could turn into bugs, and he has them. He has all 10 of them. Well,
oh yeah,
and he has them all. Like when we see him next time.
Yeah.
So
somebody like, what would you think of that scene with the tall man just casually walking down the neighborhood? He locks eyes with Mike, and then it just so happens that Reggie is on the other side of the street, and he opens up his ice cream van. That cold smoke blows out, and he just stands there in the billowing smoke, kind of taking it in.
Yeah, he's just very like, he's taken by it. It's all like, oh, this is helping whatever the hell it's helping. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but
I mean that seemed like a dream sequence.
But what I don't understand is that
was that a dream sequence?
It could have been.
I think it had to have been a dream sequence. Now that I'm thinking back,
no, he had a lollipop in his mouth.
Yeah, you can have lollipops in your dreams.
Oh yeah, totally. But no, this was real. And then doesn't he end up like leaving or something? It was a weird jump cut. That's part of the flaws of the editing. But I mean, like you would think that like in that say if it wasn't a dream, because wouldn't that tall man, like it looks like a small community? Wouldn't they know about that tall man?
It's like, oh, there's the grave robber.
Well,
you'd assume that a lot of this community was so small. Everybody wasn't. There's nobody around. Everyone was dead. Because he wasn't. He was
a ghost town.
He was taking all the bodies. We'd assume every body in that mausoleum that hadn't been cremated is working for him in this other dimension.
Pretty much.
Because they go later to see if the mother and father are there, and they only check for the father, but the father's missing. So
yeah,
I thought that would have been a nice moment to maybe see the two brothers have to deal with their little pint-sized father.
Right, yeah. Just to see, yeah. But they dealt with a friend, I guess.
They did, briefly. They didn't seem too weirded out by it for people who had been friends all their lives.
No, they just put him in the ice cream truck.
Yeah. It's like, you better not bleed all over my ice cream.
Hey, he's right, I take that seriously too, man. Yeah. Wasted ice cream like that? Lose that to yellow blood? That's a shame.
Oh, man. I think the only thing creepier than this tall man character is probably Reggie, the ponytailed.
The haircut, yeah, totally.
Ponytailed ice cream man. He's he plays a genuinely good guy. Like, yeah. Really, he's the comedic relief. He's really sweet. He's
humble. Yes, yeah.
Probably the best willed character in this, and he really just comes off as this pedophile.
He looks like,
and it's just, I guess it's his soft tone and his
I just feel like
eagerness
it's us.
to do something with Mike.
Yeah, but that's just us being, our constructs of today. We got to be careful for people who are selling ice cream.
He must not be doing very well, because none of the parents are going to stay away from Reggie the ice cream man.
I don't think that was much of an issue in the 70s. Well, it came about to be an issue in the 70s, but
because of Reggie.
Because what are you talking about? We find out later he was a hero. He saved all the girls that they kidnapped, apparently, and he all went out through a window. Like he took. I mean, he said it. We didn't see it, but apparently he's taking.
Yeah, he said it, but I don't know. He's the real villain of all this. The way he said it too, he's like, oh yeah, I saved those two girls and other girls, some girls I'd never even seen before. I saved them all.
A small neighborhood. I've never seen them before, but I saved them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew how to work the other dimension very well and survive that big When the dimension was just sucking him in, he survived, pulled through, and then the tall man got to him, and you're like, oh, okay, well.
Oh yeah, it starts to really get derailed around this point, because there's a car chase. They end up re-killing their friend,
right?
Who's now the hooded dwarf version of their friend. Yeah, who's also bleeding yellow. So the yellow is a constant thing. I'm thinking maybe that yellow could be what they use to reanimate the bodies.
I guess
but
so.
There's no chemical in embalming that would be yellow.
The funny thing, even before that, don't forget, this is when what happens. They decide to do something about it.
They decide to do something about it, but it doesn't really all I got out of it was Reggie takes his ice cream van and tries to bring their twice deceased friend somewhere. I forget exactly where, but then it gets overturned, and Mike's friend and her mother, the two girls,
right at the antique store.
Yeah. For some reason,
again, Jody's sending Mike away, saying, "No, you can't come. It's too dangerous." And just Mike always pulls through and just goes, because he's the main character. He has to have a reason to go every time, but he keeps locking him away. I don't know why.
Yeah, and they're telling them, go antiquing. Go do something that is not where your mind should be right now. You should be figuring out how to stay alive.
Yeah,
how to stop all this. And meanwhile, Mike So yeah, Mike's doing all this. The girls get kidnapped. He runs home, but
they drove off like that. Like, the way it came into the car, threw Mike out the window, took the girls, and they kept driving to the destination they had to. I thought they overturned the car at some point. I thought they might have died, but then it was revealed that they were rescued by.
Oh yeah, I assumed Reggie died. I assumed the girls died.
Yeah,
but this whole time, at least they're doing something about it. But Jody, he's
doing nothing.
He's at home on the couch. He's taking a nap.
He ends up having this
absolutely
vision.
Nothing. He's having a weird dream about being in the funeral home and being I don't know. He was just tuckered out. He had a long day, a big day.
Yeah, he was overwhelmed. I kind of get it if you're overwhelmed, but like, it's just, I'm going to send my brother away so that way, I don't get distracted, but I'm going to stay home for a bit. I'll wait till the clock hits 10 o'clock or something. I don't know. Yeah. Did this all happen in one night? No, not all of it, but from this point on, it was one night.
Yeah, because that's when Mike is locked in the room. He gets taken hostage by the tall man. He makes this. We were trying to figure out what was going on at the beginning with the hammer,
and
shotgun shell, and I believe a thumbtack. He tapes it all together, and I thought he's going to use this tool against something. It's like, no, just to get out of his room.
You figure like one of the shells could actually hit him while doing that, because there's no controlled. How do I say it? It's not really controlled where the shells are going. I know he's hitting the hammer from the other side, but there's still a risk of it bouncing back and hitting him.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll try it out one day.
Well, yeah, totally.
They were pretty.
I'd be down for it. Like if I'm wearing body armor, I'd totally do it.
Did you read in the trivia about this film that they knew nothing about blanks and that blanks could actually still be dangerous?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so they were using it, and it actually caught the director. What's his name again?
Don Cascarelli.
Yeah, it caught his coat on fire.
No, because I didn't read that at all.
Didn't realize they were still dangerous. So I guess filmmaking in the 70s was just a different atmosphere.
Even like Evil Dead, they were using a real gun the whole time, and that's okay. You have a real gun on set. Just what does that say to you if you're using a real gun? Though the result a lot better with that film, obviously. But I mean, it's just they played things a lot faster and looser back then. Less people looking out for less restrictions, well-being. Unionizing, anything like
that. Yeah. So Mike, like I said, was taken hostage, but now he has a gun. And instead of using the gun against the tall man, I guess he knows that he can't defeat him with that gun.
Cut off his fingers and grew him back. I guess that was the logic he thought. But you still shoot him in the head. What's the difference? It would have got him out of that temporary. Because what he ended up doing to escape, the tall man still survived that car crash. So.
Yeah, he shot out the back window, shot the tire.
Well, with accuracy, I would never be able to determine where the tire is. You could hear it, but to really get it on the first try.
Yeah.
That's I would have just shot him in the head, then he would have still driven off, and you could still shoot off the back. Back window.
But I guess he just wants to get out of there. He wants the car to stop moving so much so he can jump out and be relatively
So you have a
safe.
gun. You think about this is the way to get out instead of actually shooting somebody with it.
Yeah. Well, you shoot somebody with it, there could be an accident. You shoot the tire, maybe you're thinking he'll just slow down.
Yeah, he really flew out of that back window easily. He was fine. He was fine. It didn't even look like he was coming out of the back window. It was a pretty bad shot, actually.
Yeah. Well, probably hard to film and do it safe, especially with nobody on set who knows what they're doing.
Not a real stuntman. It's a real 13-year-old jumping out of a car.
He's like, okay, Mike, drive this car. Now, Mike, just jump out. Make sure you do it before it hits the tree and explodes.
All in one take. Be careful. We really need this. We got film burning on 2 cameras.
Yeah, we got one chance to make this shot. Get another mic, but we can't get another car.
Oh man.
I guess Jody, he had gone to the funeral home. This is when he went to the funeral home to make sure his parents were not used as minions, but they were because the father's gone.
Well, he doesn't even look. He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't. He was like, "You're in there." And
then then you see this red transition happening. We assume it was the Phantasm ball, and then he's not supposed to, then Jody's not where he's supposed to be, and then Mike ends up being there. Then Mike sees the ball, it chases him, and then Jody shoots it off. So I'm like, so you telling me Jody avoided the ball or whatever the hell that thing that saw red ended up not being where he was where his dad was supposed to be buried. And Mike comes in, sees the ball, and then Jody comes to his rescue because he was supposed to be there in the first place. Yeah. So what happened?
And then Reggie joins up with him just for good measure.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, guys, since we're all alive.
Those bladed spheres, though, seem very ineffective. Unless you are a cowboy hat wearing custodian.
It has its targets.
Yeah. See, and then they go into that room, the room that we saw the girl from the beginning go into.
Yeah, she immediately screams,